welcome so much. Appreciate that you all are here to see how circles and community action agencies work so well together. My name is Kamatara Johnson, and I'm the Executive Director for Circles USA. And Bruce, will you take a moment to introduce yourself as well?
Sure. Bruce Forbes. I work for Share Community Action Agency in upstate South Carolina, and also oversee our Circles Upstate South Carolina chapter here in Greenville. So we're part of Hurricane Helene and all the fun that has happened. So
And taking a moment to honor Bruce, I'm so grateful that you even could make it today because it really was intense when Helene hit, and that was kind of the week we were first going to meet, and
right.
we had to put a pin in it, but hopefully your community is doing better now, Bruce.
Yeah, there's a lot of help out there, just a matter of people getting to that help. I've never seen as many trees knocked down as we've had in our area. I've been living here in the upstate for 25 years, and this is the worst I've ever seen it. And we didn't get it nearly as bad as the folks obviously in Florida who got hit head on, and also our friends up in Western North Carolina with
Yeah.
all the water and flood damage that they experienced.
Yeah, I spoke with our curriculum development specialist, Chris, who's in Asheville, North Carolina, and they still don't have running water and
Yeah.
intermittent electricity and just all sorts of things. So actually just take a moment to honor all that our community action agencies do to support people who are in need. And then Circles chapters also turn into almost like lifeboats of support when there are crises like these. So let's get going here to look at what is Circles. And of course, you can go to circlesusa.org and see this on the website. But I love that our missions align so perfectly with community action agencies that, at Circles, we are building community to end poverty. And we do that through intentional friendships, personal transformation, and systemic change led by people closest to the challenge. So you can see in the center of all that we do are people with the lived experience, because that's where we get the best solutions. We definitely aren't about rescuing, saving, or fixing, but we are about coming together, and that there's a whole community response that can happen. And when all the individuals in our community are thriving, we all win. Like, this is good for everyone when we have, we're respecting all people, we're working at the community and the individual level, that we're promoting equity and autonomy, that we're supportive and accountable, that we're creating personal and systemic change. So I like to say Circles is a both and it works on multiple levels. Awesome. Gina, will you let that person in? Thank you so much. All right. So there's our mission, our vision, our core commitments. We're actually, oh, we could add one more state to this map. We just added Oregon, a community action agency in Klamath Lake, Oregon, just came on board. So excited. And another little dot in Atlanta, Georgia just came on board this month. So it's been very exciting. But we have 17 of our 70 chapters are sponsored by community action agencies. So there's a good precedent here. People have gone before, they've done it. And this is an interesting map of the landscape of a community. This is just a sample platter of what we've seen over the years. Like, how do we respond to people in need? And we've seen over the 25 years of Circles that there's these 5 stages of moving from surviving to thriving. And actually, crisis intervention is, even before the surviving. I mean, that's just wow. And a lot of our communities have huge funding for crisis intervention, as well they should, because when there's a crisis, you need that exact help at that moment with that exact thing that you're struggling with. Like, if I need a domestic abuse shelter, or I need a food pantry, like exact things, that's perfect. But what we don't see in the communities where we work oftentimes is, how do we really accompany someone on the journey from left to right as they're moving from crisis intervention, and then they get stabilized? Okay, now what? And that's where community action agencies and Circles gets to be that now what together to keep accompanying people until they're permanently out of poverty. So we don't have people looping in crisis intervention, or we don't have it all falling on the case manager at the community action agency. Like we need more support. So Circles tries to open that up, see what's in your community, connect the folks that are all working in the same arena. How do we pull it all together? So Circles has two big goals. One is to equip families to get out of poverty permanently, and another is to remove the barriers that keep people in poverty. And the way that we do those two goals is through our weekly meeting. We tend to have a dinner where we call our participants circle leaders because they are leading their own lives. We're not here to tell them what to do, but as I am a circle leader, then I am getting first training. So I can learn about the inner landscape. I can learn about trauma, and I can learn about poverty, and I can learn about, economics. I can learn about finances. I can make goals for myself, SMART goals, and I can start making an action plan, and I can start learning the soft skills that are really important for really healthy, sustainable employment. And then we'll have a dinner. All the children will come, whether it's, my kids as a circle leader. I'm also going to get matched once I'm done with training. I'm going to get matched with 2 allies. And that's where these 2 allies that are middle and upper income are going to share the journey with me. So they also get to have training because, again, we don't want toxic charity. Oh, I'm going to come in and save you. No. But we do want to share our social capital. And we want to share our knowledge of things. You might know things that I don't, or you have connections that I don't. And then we can all hold each other accountable on this journey. So after, people are all trained up, we're having our dinner together. The children go off to the youth program. The circle leaders and allies get to work together, make the plan, work the plan. And then we also have typically the 4th week of the month, there'll be the big view. That's our name for systemic change. So how do we start working on what could we improve in our community? And again, driven by people closest to the challenge, the circle leaders will share. Maybe it's a listening session. What is going on that you're really struggling with? Okay, and then when it becomes clear, like here's something that our community could work on, these community-driven solutions. So a typical chapter has a coach and a coordinator. The coach is really working with the match circles with the circle leaders and the allies and like making progress happen. The coordinator gets to work with the volunteers because we know that we need to surround folks who are moving from surviving to thriving with community volunteers. So we have community volunteers to support the weekly meeting. We have youth volunteers to support the youth. And then, depending on how your community action agency is set up, then we may need liaisons to like jobs and education or services, or there's kind of a flex model that happens with circles depending on the lead organization. So our weekly meetings is where the magic happens. That's where the bonding, the relationships start to happen. People feel seen and heard and loved and cared about. And then we also get to have all those connections to the greater community. So it's inward facing and outward facing. It's really an amazing thing to experience. Circles USA also has a data system because we know we need to track what's actually happening here. Not only so like me as a circle leader, I can see my own numbers. And boy, when I was in medical debt from our oldest child that had 6 surgeries in 3 years, and our founder, Scott Miller, kept asking me, well, how much do you owe, Kamatara? I'm like, I don't know. And I finally could find the numbers. It was terrifying. But with him, with my ally by my side, I could look at my numbers and figure out what they were and make a plan and work the plan and get out of that medical debt. So that data is huge. So at first it's scary, but then it's really important. And circle leaders start making awesome decisions. There's budgeting, there's goals, there's data. We can really drive ourselves in a healthy way, get the support we need to make awesome progress. We also know that we're impacting more than just the participants. So we have ally staff and volunteer progress reports as well, because there's so much that's happening when we bring the community together. And of course, we want to do demographics because we want to know who are we reaching, who are we missing? And that helps us to serve our community better. And and the data that Circles collects absolutely helps you in your reports and the things that you need for your funding and the things that you need for the, the government reports that you need to do. And there have been some pretty amazing results, increases in employment, education, transportation, home ownership. This is all in our impact report, which you can see online when you click learn more. We also have a return on investment calculator that was made by UCLA for us. So you can see at your particular chapter, what is the income gain and, what is the decrease in government assistance. And a really exciting feature is to see how much people's social capital increases. This is probably my favorite number that on average in 18 months, it's 300% people you could call on in times of emergency. And we certainly know that economic mobility isn't always about what you know, it's about who you know. And how do we branch out? Like the bonding social capital is great when peers are interacting with peers, but the bridging social capital, when I get matched with my allies, a whole world opens up to me. And then the linking social capital, now I'm connected to all these organizations in the community and all these resources, and it just opens up, and it's great for the community members too. So things aren't just happening privately in the social worker's office and nothing ever sees the light of day. Like, how do we engage community members in the community action agencies and walk alongside each other and really be bonded, and people starting to see their value and worth and being contributing members to the community. So the social capital for economic mobility and engaging our citizens is so powerful. So I'm going to turn it over to Bruce now so he can talk about how Circles is outpictured in his community action agency. And Bruce, just let me know whenever you'd like the slides to shift. I'll shift them for you. Oh, and Bruce, I think you're muted
Yeah,
there.
sorry
There
about
we
that.
go. Perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Kamatara. Good afternoon or late morning to all of you who are here. I super appreciate it. So I've been working at SHARE that serves 4 counties in the upstate of South Carolina for 16 years. SHARE, we've been around for 60 years, as probably some of you have been as well as community action agencies. I've been serving the homeless in our community for about 25 years. And I oversee our job training program, our housing repair program, obviously our homeless services program, and obviously our Circles program. And when I heard about Circles back in 2014, I said that I really wanted to be a part of that because I saw how powerful the relationships that you would create in terms of assisting folks. And when you get people who are motivated and they want that assistance, a lot of magic happens and a lot of wonderful things happen. So before I kind of talk to you a little bit about what I love about Circles, I wanted to kind of find out your position at your community action agency. So Heidi, actually in the 90s, I used to live up in Albany and Schenectady. What's your role there for your community action agency?
I am the Director for Programs and Communication here at NISCA.
Very good. And how many counties do you guys serve?
So we are the Community Action Association that supports all 47 community action agencies.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And how about Nicole? What's your role? And you're over in Springfield, Illinois.
Yep, I'm in Springfield. I'm also at the Illinois Association. Well, at the association in Illinois, like Heidi.
Okay.
So we serve all of the 38 agencies now.
Wow. Okay.
Within Illinois.
All right. Very good. Yeah, in South Carolina, we have, I think, 14 CAP agencies. So cool.
Okay.
All right. And thank you for being on the call. Aaron, I know you just joined us recently. Where were you from, Aaron?
Hi there. I'm not actually with a CAP agency. I'm with the National Energy and Utility Affordability Coalition in DC. So
Okay.
we work with a lot of CAP agencies ourselves, and I'm just here to learn.
Okay, okay. You help those CAP agencies get funding to help them pay for utility costs for their clients?
Yep, do a lot of work on LIHEAP and other energy
Yeah.
and bit of water
Okay.
assistance.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you for being on the call. And then Tiara, I see that a lot of folks, I'm assuming the WV is West Virginia, and there were a lot of people with the same email address. Did you get the short straw and had to come to this meeting? Is that what happened?
Sure.
Tiara, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
One moment. Can you
Are
hear
you,
me
are you
now?
there?
Oh, yes. So
Okay.
where are you coming in from, Tiara?
Coming in from Charleston, West Virginia. I'm with Enact, and we are one of the 16 community action agencies here in West Virginia.
Great. What's your role there?
I'm our
Or-
community development coordinator.
Okay. Awesome. All right. And then finally, Allie, you're already an ally, I guess it sounds like. So,
Yes, so I work at Missouri Valley Community Action Agency. We serve 7 counties, and I am the community engagement specialist.
fantastic.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Well, this is a great cross-section of folks. So we can go back on the slides. I'm sorry.
Yes, that was perfect. I thank you. I appreciate that. Let me hit share. Got you. All right.
Yep. And the next one. Yeah. So I think all of you are probably familiar with the promise of community action. Changes people's lives, embodies the spirit of hope, improves communities, it makes America a better place to live. We care about the entire community and dedicated to helping people help themselves and each other. Next slide. And then the purpose is to reduce poverty by empowering low-income individuals and families to achieve economic self-sufficiency through community involvement, tailored solutions, and help of volunteers. And the reason I bring all that up is because it sounds an awful lot like circles. And so next slide. And if anybody has any questions while I'm going along, just go ahead and ask away, please, okay? Raise your hand, interrupt, however you want to do it. That's fine with me. So what I love about circles is it kind of takes community action to like community action 2.0, 3.0. And the reason is it takes it away from just the transactional type of community action that many of us have to do, that what Kamatara was talking about, the crisis intervention. Soup kitchens are great because, for example, they keep people alive, which is important, but if there aren't things happening in a soup kitchen, for example, that helps that person never need that soup kitchen again, then we're not really sure what's going on. And so what I like about circles is it really does lift families who are in poverty out of poverty. Now, again, I wish we all had the magic wand and could wave the magic wand and boom, next day it happens. But as you know, it's a process. It's a process to have gotten into poverty, and it's a process to exit out of poverty. But Circles is able to make that process happen in about 12 to 18 months. And what I love about it is because you are creating those relationships, you are creating intentional friendships. I knew that Circles worked after our first group went through, and they had kind of completed the 18 months. And it might have been, 6 months after that, they came to me and they were explaining what was going on. And they mentioned that they had hit a bump in the road, but it didn't derail them like it would have in the past. Essentially, they realized that they had people that they could count on, people that they could call, and they knew that they could get through it. And at that point, I knew that the light had gone off, the light bulb had gone off, and Circles had done their thing. And so that family is still doing well today. So again, Circles moves community action agencies beyond the transactional way of addressing poverty. It brings it into the transformational relationship building ways to alleviate poverty. And it really helps people believe in themselves that they can do it and they can thrive. The other thing is Circles also intentionally needs volunteers. And so we're actively recruiting people who might not normally come into the world of poverty, business people and church groups and other folks who volunteer, and they get to see poverty up close and personal. And what I like about that is that hopefully they're having conversations with their peers and hopefully changing the narrative in their community about what's possible and how people can actually thrive. And then our volunteers and others in the community hear about the success stories and the hard work that's actually being done by families to exit poverty. Next slide, please. We've had a bunch of success stories here. We've started our 5th group now. And for some reason, I think maybe because of the Greenville, South Carolina area has kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. We've had a lot of our circle leaders want to become entrepreneurs as well and started their own businesses. And they've started commercial and residential cleaning services, a catering business. We have a gentleman that addiction recovery service. We've had several home health care services get started and a daycare service. Next slide. And I think this is where we can play the video if we're able to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna press play, and then if for some reason, you know, something isn't right, just let me know.
Okay.
All right, but it should be fine. And Circles USA was so proud and excited to feature Bruce's chapter using this entrepreneurship pathway out of poverty.
Before Circles, I didn't have the wherewithal to do nearly any of the things that I'm trying to do now. There's always obstacles. There's always things that come up. That was major for me. I wasn't aware of the things I needed.
Years back at Circles, we started to recognize that there was a gap for some of our leaders, that a traditional career path might be a challenge for some of them. So we wanted to help solve that problem, and we recognized that entrepreneurialism was one of those approaches.
Entrepreneurship is a real important path for a route out of poverty. It opens up a world of opportunity that the right person with the right personality and the right skills can take a step towards financial independence and stability by relying on what their talents and their loves are.
One of the individuals we're really excited about seeing this happen for is Carson.
My dream for our business is to help men that are suffering with the disease of addiction to have a smooth transition back into society by providing them with the skills that they'll need. Once I got involved with Circles, it was phenomenal what happened. I started to learn about budgeting, about saving, about different resources that I could use to help me enhance those things. And then we started to get the business plan in place.
I became his ally. We started working on his goals. The business plan was more difficult. It took a lot of reading and research, and then we were able to connect with Sarah at the business center.
So I got connected to Carson as his business coach. My first impression of Carson was a go-getter. It's like, Miss Sarah, I have this idea. I don't know how it's gonna go, how it's gonna take shape, but I wanna get this done. It's something that I've always wanted to do. So we started the action plan rolling right away.
Watching him go through this process has really been exciting because he has such a passion to help others.
It's a phenomenal feeling. I feel like I can do this because I have put in the work.
So now that we've got the business plan well underway, he has really thrived.
On those days when I got discouraged and almost felt like giving up, she gave me that motherly eye like, no, we're not gonna give up. We're gonna keep moving forward with this. We are looking for a house now because The biggest part of the business is providing shelter for the men that we plan to help.
But 3 bedrooms and 2 baths would be excellent for a starter.
Right, because we want to have the 2 bedrooms for the guys with 2 in each room and some office space. And then hopefully we could also have like a bonus room, so it's like a community room for the guys. Like that house right there. That is beautiful.
I can't wait for the ribbon cutting. I'm excited. I am very excited because it is going to happen.
Yes, ma'am. I couldn't have done it without you.
Absolutely.
It is extremely valuable for entrepreneurs to have a mentor. It builds confidence immediately. Having someone to be a sounding board, to give you access to connections that you don't normally have access to, gives them momentum to keep going.
How did your sale go for Valentine's Day?
We did good with the Oreos on the different cupcakes, so I think it turned out good. I still want to do the catering, but the actual more decorating part. Yeah. And kind of like even maybe do like, you know how they do the heart, the breakable hearts, maybe do like an egg.
I met Haley through Circles. I was paired with her because she worked in the catering business. I am the owner of Jazz Catering and Cakes here in Greenville, South Carolina. I just love to cook. I love to try different things all the time. It was passed down from generations, so I just love what I do.
Being Amber's ally, seeing it from the ground up and seeing how hard Amber worked is so powerful. We worked on her logo, but we also worked on menus and different options that she was going to provide.
I don't think that I would have ever had a business, but thanks to Circles, that was an option for me. For anyone that is trying to establish their business or they have a business idea, they don't know how to get it started, I feel like Circles is that starting point to lead you and to assist you and get you connected with the right people.
Especially in catering, it's definitely who you know, and if one person tries your cake, it's word of mouth and it just spreads. So just really proud that she not only puts herself out there, but also has a really good product. And just knowing that, like, you know, that all started from Circles is really exciting.
As you see them begin to build their business, you see their confidence grow. It's something that they own, that they're excited about, and you see a team of allies and other business leaders come around and support them. They feel a sense of empowerment. And ultimately, what they are doing is creating opportunity for other members of our community.
My hope is that through this, that we can encourage other Circles communities to also start an entrepreneur program within their organization. It helps them not only get their businesses off the ground, but also create some stability so that they can flourish in other areas of their lives. That is truly like what I want all my entrepreneurs to experience, because through that financial independence, you're able to change your whole life.
Ultimately, it has a huge benefit to the entire community because the cost of poverty, there's an economic cost of poverty. When you can help someone grow, then you can do it in a way that they're going to flourish. Then ultimately the economic benefit is to all of society, and it adds to our workplace. It adds to an inclusive culture. There are just so many positive things that come out of it.
I'm very thankful for Circles. I have gained friends that I can call on, confidence, getting my business out there.
It's a wonderful, warm, hopeful feeling. I'm in a whole big different place now with what I can do and where I can go.
Okay, cool. You all can go to YouTube and go to Circles USA, and you'll be able to see that video, and it'll come through maybe a little bit better than how it did here, but you all got the gist of it. I do want to let you know that Circles is not just for people that want to become entrepreneurs or are entrepreneurs. It's for anybody that literally wants to improve their lives and exit poverty. And we've seen that people starting their own business is a great pathway to do that. So the benefit of kind of partnering with Circles USA is you'll be seen as a thought leader and a results leader in your community by reducing poverty. So these success stories are continually filtering through our community, and as a result, share is looked at with a better light than maybe before Circles. And so that's one of the wonderful benefits of being a part of circles. The other thing that I love about circles too is the concept of the big view. And the big view is really taking the lead about wanting to help solve a problem. And most of our communities, we have problems with lack of affordable housing, lack of affordable quality childcare, the need for better public transportation. But so because we intentionally bring in community volunteers, middle income and upper income volunteers to be allies, we are able to get a variety of ideas and responses to help begin the process of solving the problem. And that just, again, raises the level of significance for your community action agency. And in our area, we initially looked at affordable housing, and basically we teamed up with a lot of other organizations that were already doing that. And so we did, kind of showing up at county council and city council meetings to support that. Then we had a public transportation funding issue, and we did that, and we sent note cards to county council officials and city council officials to say, please support that. And then the most recent thing we did around transportation was the idea of creating van pools, which is something that Commute with Enterprise does. And it's basically you go around into the neighborhood, pick up people who live near people and then they go to a particular company. And so not everybody has a car. And so this is a way for that to happen. And there, a couple counties over, I was at a meeting with someone, and they had mentioned about the van pool, and I said, oh, Circles, we were the ones that got it started. And they were pleased. And I said, how many van pools do you have now? They've got 15 van pools and over 50 to 75 people who are now able to reliably get back and forth to work. And there were no van pools in the upstate until we got that started. So these things happen. And again, positive awareness of your organization, you become a positive force for helping the community grow. I believe that a good paying job is the best anti-poverty program around. And so you get to be known as that. And our reach into the business community and the faith community strengthens as we are looking for funds as well as volunteers. And so, as you know, those are all good things to make sure that your agency survives and thrives. Next slide.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
So how community action agencies can help with Circle's operating costs. So for example, here at Share, we use CSBG dollars to cover, staff salaries, the Circle's coach and the coordinator. That's going to be your biggest cost item, is staff. But you want to make sure you've got good staff to do a good job. And then we've been able to branch out and grab some United Way dollars. And those kind of are like a supportive services money. We use them for crisis intervention funds, or what I love more importantly are moving forward funds. And those moving forward funds, help pay for someone who we reach out to organizations that can help create a business plan, or maybe they need to just purchase their business license, or maybe some supplies to get their business going, pay for job training, that sort of thing. So we've been able to get United Way dollars for that. And then we have a wonderful church that is very, very supportive of our Circles site. And they basically cover the costs of the weekly meals at this point. But we also have money that we can use from United Way to help pay for those meals. Because one of the magic parts of the weekly meetings is that we do break bread together. We do share a meal together. And that informal conversation is a great way for leaders and allies to get to know one another. And then, after the initial training that both groups go through, they have an opportunity to select who they'd like to see be their leader or be their ally. And it makes for a great moving forward. And so then that group then works on the goals to help that family exit poverty. Next slide, please. And I can tell you that Circles USA, over the 9 years, almost 10 years that Share has been partnering with Circles USA, great staff, easy to work with. Kamatara and Gina are wonderful to work with. Plus, they've got a bunch of other folks there that are awesome. You have access to the other chapters, staff for guidance and ideas and help. You're never having to go it alone, similarly to how community action already operates. You don't live in a bubble. You can share ideas. They've got a database that can show the impact that we make both locally and nationally. The conferences that are put together every couple of years are wonderful ways to learn about some new information, as well as meet people face to face and share those opportunities. And if you're needing ideas about big view topics and more importantly, how to implement them, Circles USA is a great way to do that. And next slide, or is that it?
Yeah, I think is there anything else you'd like to share, Bruce, that's coming to mind?
At the moment, no.
Okay. The only other thing that came to mind, and it's something actually that you told me, Bruce, is that another thing that's really interesting about Circles and community action agencies coming together, especially in the big view work, the systemic change branch of what we do. Circles is this really interesting, safe place that brings people together, not only across income lines, just across all different, all the different facets of our beautiful communities, brings everyone together with this common cause. It's a place where, let's say, your local policymaker could show up and meet his or her or their constituents, or they could serve a meal and just listen to people. So there's also a really interesting way to have those kind of connections to the decision makers, and also for someone like me who has experienced poverty, or I may not think much of myself, but now I'm in Circles, and now I'm starting to develop myself, and now I'm finding my voice. And now I've got an opportunity to break bread with my representative, and this person is listening to me, and now all of a sudden things are happening. So there's interesting connections that happen all across the community, to employers, businesses, churches, policy makers, and also the leadership development that happens, where now I do have a voice, and I do matter, and I do have good things that I could share. And then when circle leaders graduate, become economically self-sufficient, oftentimes they become the board member, the city councilor, the new ally for the next group of circle leaders coming up. Like it just keeps building upon itself. It's just really, it's beautiful to see that kind of engagement. So when let's say that you say, wow, we want to add circles to what we do. So circles would be like one ship in the fleet of things that you offer, right? Because the community action agency is so varied, all the beautiful things that you do for your community. Okay, so you would work with Circles USA. You would, let's say you'd sign a year one contract, and the year one contract is $10,000 for the membership dues. And then of course you get so much with that. And then in the first year we would do 12 planning calls to try to, how do you reallocate a few staff members? How do you build those community connections? Or, connect with someone like Tiara, who is the community development person, or Allie, or the community engagement specialist. Like, okay, now how do we start using our community members, get engaged, kind of build the infrastructure? So that way, but when you're ready to start serving people, the circle leaders, the allies, the youth, you have everything in place. So Circles USA just walks alongside you. We have all the materials you need. We have all the trainings you need. We have stuff like PowerPoint presentations. We have brochures. We have one-pagers. Like, we tried to make everything that would be like take and bake pizza, just hand it to you. and you can take off a few pickings and toppings and put on a few of your own co-branded, what do you need to do to make it work? So we help with the flex model, we help with your startup. We have all the branding and templates and things that you would need, the trainings online and in and online trainings, and then of course the things that you could use for your in-person trainings. And then as Bruce alluded to, we do have a really robust community of practice. We're in 26 states and people are so generous in the Circles USA family. For example, some folks in Troup County, Georgia, LaGrange, they made a micro loan program so their folks could avoid predatory lending. And our other chapter said, oh my gosh, how did you do that? They said, fine. They uploaded all the documents to our little sharing place where you could see it and share it. And now we have multiple chapters that are able to offer a microloan program or gap funding, some of those startup funds in a low interest loan, or helping some of our folks that are underbanked or not banked at all. Like there's all sorts of things that our community practice is sharing. And then we're hoping to do more things regionally and nationally as we, get to be stronger organizationally. And we have lots of national partners. So you get beautiful things like free online cliff effect planning tools or civic engagement materials, or just different, there's, all sorts of partners that do, wonderful things. So there's just huge benefits to being with Circles, that we could share this work and that we could just hand it to you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. We've already, we can just hand it to you. It's good to go. There's people who have done it before. So again, very grateful that you're here. Our emails are pretty simple. So just Kamatara@circlesusa.org, or Bruce is bforbes@sharesc.org.